Oh, man. Guys, you've been absolutely fantastic. I cannot tell you how much fun I've had up here tonight. This is the most fun I've had maybe all year. Maybe 2 years. I love this fucking place so much. I love each and every one of you for being here. I fucking... Goddamn. Oh, I'm going to tell you one last story. And it happened here, right in this room. One of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life, in all of comedy. So, I have to give you a little backstory about this particular event. This bar was bought by Jeff Holt about 10 years ago. You don't know Jeff Holt, he's an incredible man. I love him dearly. He supports the arts like a motherfucker. Yeah, that's about it. He's goofy as hell, he was weird, but he believed in comedy and he believed in the arts. Like, you don't find that in bar owners and managers. They're about the bottom line, and he clearly did not give a shit, which is why this building's closing. Just a fact. So he buys this bar, and I was working for him over at Papa J's. If didn't know that bar, that was a haunted whorehouse. Me and Sean Collier saw a ghost there. I don't even believe in ghosts. I saw one somehow, so that's weird, you know? Explain that, ghost hunters. So I go over here. I've only been working here a couple months, and show here is starting to kind of fill out. We have this one particular night. I have a show on the other side of the town. And I asked my friend James J. Hamilton if he can host the show. James, you saw earlier up here, I'm sure he said way fucked up shit about 9/11 or something. I didn't hear he said, was it 9/11? Did he do 9/11? 9/11? No, yeah, it was a 9/11 guy. So, anyway, I asked him to host the show, because he's a great comic. And I go off and I go do this show and I come here. But this night was particularly weird. This is one of the weirdest nights in Pittsburgh comedy, because one of the comics on the show was coming here deliberately with a reality film crew. Because he was on a show called The Great Norwegian Adventure, where they take ex-Norwegian pats and they bring them back to Norwegia, or whatever that place is called. And then they set them out in the wilderness to eat each other and become Vikings or something. I don't know what the show is. I never watched it. But anyway, they had a reality film crew here, and it brought every crazy motherfucker out of the woodwork to try to get a reality film show credit, right? Like, and so they all show up. So the place is at capacity. Like, this is the first 4 months we've had this fucking show here. On Thursday nights, we had this Thursday open mic. And it's full to the brim. And at that time, there was no stage. There was none of this. The walls were white with, like, green festoonment. Like, there was, like, these giant, hideous mirrors. Yeah, we still left them painted. We didn't fucking know at all. That's from the Winter Ball of 94 or something. I don't know. It's very distracting when the mirrors are up. You look back at yourself, like, damn, your ass is fat. It was terrible. You know, those mirrors. So anyway, the show's going on, and we have a crazy lineup. We have like 30 people. That was a lot at that time. Not now. Well, anyway. We're not going to go through that explanation. But so anyway, I show up. I go in the back. I record a podcast. James is holding his own. Everything's going fine. Jeff Holt is seated right there. Right there at a table with like a couple of my friends and the cook. Okay? I come in. I slide down next to him. We're drinking. James is hosting. Everything's going great. Okay? And then this woman gets on stage. And she starts telling these really weird, like, Iraq Wars jokes. And it's just, like, getting weirder. There's this weird vibe going. There's this weird tension with this, like, kind of party of people, like, right over there in the back of the room. And then this woman clearly starts targeting James. And then we realize we know who this woman is. So you see, I'm not going to explain this on film or on audio, what exactly happened. But I'm going to give you some hints. And you can use context clues to build your own story. Sort of like a Mad Lib for a very offensive joke. My friend James made a very private joke among a group of friends online for a very poor form of jokes, and it caught wind of other people. And it was offensive to people for reasons that are bad. A bad kind of joke that people don't like. Good, okay, everyone figured it out. And the thing was, it was supposed to be a very private joke, And somehow people found out about it because Facebook was all broken ass then, and it became like a national phenomenon. Like for weeks, people started sending James death threats. And they're like, "We're gonna kill this guy," and people were threatening to come to shows and protest all the time. And they didn't do it, and we just kept laughing about it. And then it happened. And this woman is there, and she is pissed, and she starts screaming at James. And James is just sitting right there in the most stoic fashion, just barrage of swear words and spittle is just flying at him. And me and Jeff were like, "Whoa, what the fuck is that?" And we're getting up, and then we realize the room's getting like way tenser, and we see that there's other people like starting to get up, and we're like, "What the fuck is happening?" And this woman just keeps screaming at him, and finally when she can't get any response from him anymore, she just completely loses it. She picks up a glass, a fucking pint glass, and hurls it at him, but it misses him and explodes on the table. And everyone suddenly stands up, and then there's like 10 people, this mob she fucking brought with her, they stand up, and then suddenly the room is chaos. This woman goes diving at James, the cook fucking grabs her, and then what she is, he's held behind her, fucking, her arms are held back like this, and she just starts fucking kicking tables, knocking over everything she fucking can. And at one point, one of the other cooks comes like, "You can't hold her down, you're not the bouncer, you have to let her go." And the guy immediately lets her go, and that one proceeds to punch the guy who told her to let her go in the face. And immediately after that, Jeff gets decked in the face. Someone comes at me. I just get to fucking shove a table at one of the down tables at them. This woman's in the fucking corner. She has a fucking mic stand, and she's just swinging it violently at everybody. She beats me in the arm like 4 fucking times. And finally, every table in this room is turned over. Every glass is broken. The whole place just is awful. And our friends run out that door and into the night just as the cops arrive. And we kind of stood around like, whoa. That was a fucking riot, wasn't it? I know what those are like. And this is the craziest part of that story. Is Jeff still let us do comedy after that? What kind of asshole does that? Let something happen in the next week. Let's do it again. Like, guys, thank you so much for letting me come up here and talk. And thank you again. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. Good night. I never had people applaud like that before. I didn't know what to do.